Hey everyone, Ben the Bar Guy back with another video to help you make better drinks, and today we're going to do a how-to video on the Negroni, a classic cocktail you definitely have to know. So pull up a chair, get yourself a cocktail, and let's make better drinks. Okay everyone, today we're going to learn how to make the Negroni cocktail. Little history on this cocktail. Count Camillo Negroni came from Italy, but he spent a lot of time in his 20s in the United States, where at some point he was a cowboy. And he also lived in London for a time, where he may have picked up an affinity for gin. When he returns to Florence, Italy, at his local bar where he was likely a legend, I mean, who wouldn't want to talk to a guy who had been an American cowboy who was also a count? He then convinces his bartender to change his Americano, which is just Campari and soda and a little bit of vermouth, to a drink where he adds gin instead of the soda to create the Negroni. So today, we're gonna go over this classic, bitter, somewhat advanced cocktail drinker's drink, but I promise you, if you love it, you'll fit in at any bar you've ever been to, and if you have any cocktail nerds as friends, they'll appreciate that you know a good Negroni. And like I always say, your worst Negroni is always your first Negroni, so just go ahead and drink one now, get it over with. That's as bad as it'll ever be, and that could be really good, because I love this drink. All right, so this is how it starts. This drink is quite bitter because of the use of Campari. So what you want to do is serve it down on a rock, preferably a big rock. If you have molds at home, I have links in the description if you have to, if you need to buy them. But having a big ice cube that melts slowly is really essential for this drink. You also want to chill your glass. Here at Reliable Tavern, as always, we're going to use liquid nitrogen, but you can just drop some rocks glasses into a freezer and leave them there for 15 minutes or so. They'll get nice and cold, and so that's what we're going to do. By the way, make sure you wash your hands. Keep your hands clean for all this. I'm going to be handling ice with my hands, but I want you guys to know I washed your hands before the video started. So when we make the Negroni, we like to build right over the rock. I got enough chill on that. All right, nice frosty glass like so. Now when I choose a rock, I want one that's gonna give me a wash line, that is where the drink comes up on the glass, that looks like the bartender didn't take a drink, okay? Now this is a stirred down drink with 3 ounces in the recipe. Some stirred down drinks, like an old fashioned, say, and I'll put a link to the description of our old fashioned video, that's only about 2 1/4 ounces, 2 maybe 1/3 ounces of actual liquid in the drink. So you want to use a much smaller glass for an old fashioned and a bigger glass for a Negroni. You also want to use a bigger rock if you have a difference in your sizes. Some people probably have 2x2 molds. That might be a little too small for this. So you may want to go out and buy 2.5 by 2.5 by 2.5 molds and then get one of these ice picks, also in the description, and trim those to make it fit. All right, so let's build our Negroni. Step 1, of course, is the Campari. The quintessential ingredient for this cocktail is the Campari. It is what makes the cocktail. It is the basis for this cocktail, and it is the reason that it is so amazing. Campari is a unique product, except no substitutes. There are none. Campari or nothing makes a Negroni. But if you wanted to switch some out, this is pretty bitter. It's a little harsh for new drinkers. If you wanted to substitute out Aperol, no one's gonna be mad. Just don't call it a Negroni for me, all right? Aperol is a little sweeter, but it has those bitter components. It's that nice bright red. I do recommend using a touch less than 1 ounce like we did here with the Campari. Because it's so sweet, it will overwhelm the cocktail. Just use a little bit less, maybe 3/4 of an ounce, bubbled 3/4 of an ounce, just dumb it down a little bit. Now for my Negronis, I love using Dolin Sweet Vermouth. Dolin is a product made out of France, which isn't traditionally where sweet vermouths came from 100 years ago. In the old days, in fact, dry vermouth was what mostly was associated with French vermouth, and so they just called it French vermouth when they meant dry. And when they said Italian vermouth, they meant sweet. So the original Negroni was probably made with something a little richer, and an Italian vermouth that's a little more dense. I think Cocchi Torino is a great sweet vermouth to use for a vermouth. Some people like Carpano Antica formula as a vermouth, another Italian sweet vermouth. Those are great vermouths in a Negroni. I just find that with lighter spirits like gin, I want a lighter vermouth, and this French vermouth happens to be a touch lighter Dolin. So I use 1 ounce of Dolin vermouth, but you choose what you guys want to use at home. I'm quite certain that Count Negroni did not use French sweet vermouth in his original Negroni. So if you want to move more the original route, find a Italian vermouth. Now keep in mind, Carpano Antica is so dense and so rich. I would recommend maybe dumbing down, again, just like the Aperol, dumb down just the use of vermouth, just a touch, maybe to 3/4, find out what you like, but otherwise it's gonna dominate the cocktail. So again, we've done 1 ounce of Campari, and we've done 1 ounce of sweet vermouth, and now we're gonna add the critical ingredient, gin. Now with light spirits, like I said, we use Dolin Rouge, but with richer spirits like the rye and bourbon that we use in the rail, we would use Cocchi Torino for those drinks. All right, so we have 111. That's 3 ounces total of our cocktail. All right, now comes a critical ingredient, the orange peel. Now, garnish is not something we spend a lot of time here at Reliable Tavern fretting over if it's not an ingredient. So garnish as a peacock's tail, as we call it, as a show off. We don't do a whole lot of that. In fact, we just think the guests should get their drink a little faster, and we move on to the next drink, and we make money for ourselves and our business rather than mess with garnish. Now, if garnish is part of the ingredients, however, we are very serious about it, and there is no question. The orange peel in a Negroni is an essential ingredient component of the Negroni. You do not want to make a Negroni without it. And you're gonna wanna use a Swiss peeler, and you're gonna peel very carefully with your hand not on the same hemisphere as the orange, just like you saw me just do. And you're gonna put a peel on this drink, okay? And now what are the rules to garnishing with a peel? Well, our rules here at Reliable are that the peel either needs to be long enough to be reachable, to be reached for out of the drink, just like so, okay? By the guest. They don't have to reach in their drink for the peel. No one wants to dip their fingers in their drink, right? So either the peel is long enough that it hangs out of the glass like so, or it hangs out of the glass like this, or it goes right over the top, okay? So the guest has a choice of removing it. We spritz just a touch of the oils over the top by pinching it with the outside of the peel facing the glass, and that you will see a little shimmer come out of the orange peel, and at that point, you've made a fantastic looking drink. Is that not pretty right there? Another key, if you use big ice, you want the ice cube to not be floating. You see how this is like a capsule and the drink is like a moat around it? That is ideal. We don't want Bob in there, okay? No Bob ice cubes. It's settled, it sits there, and then the drink is around it, okay? The wash line, relatively high on the glass, so it looks like the bartender didn't take a sip. It's high on the ice cube as well without overwhelming the ice cube and making it float. And you have yourself a Negroni. How do you guys feel about the Negroni? Let me know in the comments. It's an intense drink, okay? Oh, I should note one more thing about the Negroni. How much do you stir it? How much do you stir a Negroni? Well, we stir it to combine the ingredients, make sure the 3 different ingredients are melded into one. But here's what we don't do. We don't really want to stir it so much that it tastes great on the first sip, because we think that's our opinion. And if a person has ordered a Negroni, it's a down drink on an ice cube. They've told the bartender that they don't want water in their drink. They want the ice cube to be the water in the drink. They want the ice cube to chill it mostly. So what we do when it comes to Negronis is we make it, we stir to combine, and we serve the guests the drink somewhat hot. In other words, not a lot of water, not a lot of dilution already in the drink. And we like it that way because the guest gets to choose. If they've ordered a down drink, it's up to them when they want to enjoy it. They want to enjoy it really watered down, Or do they want to enjoy it with really hot, with lots of bitterness and that Campari coming through? It's up to them when it comes on the rock. If someone were to want this stirred up, well, that's a little different. Then we would put about an ounce and a quarter of water into it. We'd stir it up into a glass, like so. Also chilled. I hope you guys enjoy the Negroni. It's a fantastic cocktail. And like I always say, your first Negroni is your worst Negroni, so don't give up on it if you don't like it the most your first time, because I'm telling you, it's gonna grow on you. And with that, I will sign off. And like always, guys, to better drinks, love you, mean it. Try fast, take chances. Just kidding, don't do that. All right, bye guys. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video, and as always, gotta give some props and love to Reliable Tavern, my employer for the last 4 years where I've been running the bar, and these guys are what make these videos possible. If you like these videos and you want them to keep on rolling, I appreciate the support. You can hit me with a like and subscribe button over here, or some video recommendations over here, all of which will keep these coming. I appreciate you guys. And, like always, to better drinks, Nux, beer mug, daiquiri. Love you, mean it.